Chapter 5: The Caramel Whirlpool. Lucy's heart was still racing from the encounter in the sugar crystal cavern. The pulsating glow of the heart crystal had dimmed now, and the entrance to the next phase of her journey lay before her, glowing with promise. As the final echoes of the cavern's ominous whispers faded into the distance, Lucy took a deep breath, steadying herself. But the relief was short-lived. Poppy, floating beside her, gave her a sharp glance.
Don't relax just yet. The next trial is even more dangerous.
Lucy turned toward him, raising an eyebrow.
You really know how to make a girl feel at ease, don't you?
Poppy, despite his size, seemed oddly confident.
Trust me, you'll need all your wits about you. The next step takes us to the Caramel Whirlpool.
The Caramel Whirlpool? Lucy repeated, squinting at the flickering light ahead. That doesn't sound too bad. It sounds delicious, actually. She added, then licked the corner of her lips, imagining the taste of caramel in her mouth. Poppy sighed, his tiny arms folding across his chest.
It's not as sweet as it sounds. The Caramel Whirlpool is one of the deadliest places in the corn realm. It's a massive, swirling vortex of caramel, sticky and treacherous. The forces there don't take kindly to outsiders.
Lucy felt her stomach tighten. She had no idea what kind of place could be dangerous just because it was made of caramel, but the look in Poppy's eyes told her it wasn't something to take lightly. Captain Fizz, who had been uncharacteristically quiet, stepped forward.
I'll guide the way. But let me warn you, we'll need to stay sharp. The whirlpool's pull is strong, and it doesn't take much to get sucked in. We'll have to be fast and precise,
he said. Lucy nodded, trying to ignore the creeping doubt in her chest. Fast? Precise? She didn't even know how to navigate a caramel vortex. As they moved forward, the air grew thicker, the smell of caramel growing so strong it was almost overwhelming. It coated the back of her throat, sticky and sweet, as they walked toward the ominous churning mass that lay ahead. The ground beneath their feet began to soften, each step sinking slightly as though they were wading through a slow-moving, thick liquid. The caramel path was treacherous, making every step feel like a challenge. As they drew closer to the edge of the whirlpool, the temperature seemed to rise. Lucy felt a bead of sweat form on her brow as she gazed at the swirling mass of sticky caramel. The whirlpool was enormous, its edges boiling and frothing as it spun, pulling at the air itself. Every once in a while, it would unleash a spray of bubbling caramel that splattered around the edges like molten lava.
Remember, if you're caught by the whirlpool, you'll be pulled in. The caramel doesn't just stick, it binds. So you need to be careful. Because you won't escape easily. But we're not here to get caught. We're here to find the next piece of the puzzle, understood?
Captain Fizz instructed, his voice steady but tense. Lucy nodded. Got it, she responded. The closer they got to the whirlpool, the more intense the pull became. It wasn't just the swirling caramel that caused the sensation of being drawn in, it was the energy of the place. The air crackled with the force of the whirlpool, as if it had a mind of its own, a consciousness that sensed their presence and wanted them gone. Okay, here's the plan, Captain Fizz said, pointing toward a small patch of land on the far side of the whirlpool. That's where we need to go. It's where the next key is hidden. Lucy squinted at the patch of land. It looked impossibly far, and the whirlpool between them and their goal seemed to grow more menacing by the second. Are you sure we can make it? She asked, doubt creeping into her voice.
Actually, I'm not.
But we don't have much choice, Captain Fizz said, giving her a determined look.
It's the only way forward. Just follow my lead, and we'll make it.
Lucy gulped, her palms sweating. The Caramel Whirlpool's roar was deafening now, and as if to prove how much danger they were in, a massive tendril of caramel shot up from the whirlpool, nearly catching Captain Fizz's boat. The air crackled with the sound of the caramel snapping back into place as though it had been alive.
Go now!
Captain Fizz roared, and they sprinted forward, their footsteps sinking into the caramel path. Lucy's heart pounded in her chest, the thick air seeming to push against her as she ran. The whirlpool's pull seemed to grow stronger, and the caramel squelched under her feet, making it harder to move quickly. A massive wave of caramel suddenly rose, heading straight for them. Lucy screamed as she dodged out of its path, but the wave was relentless, sweeping toward them like a tidal wave of gooey sweetness.
Stay close!
Poppy shouted, flying above them, urging them forward.
We need to get to the edge of the whirlpool! The pull is at its weakest there!
Lucy's legs burned as she pushed herself harder, determined not to get caught by the whirlpool's pull. But the more they ran, the stronger the force of the caramel became. It felt as though the entire world was pulling her into the vortex, dragging her toward it with insurmountable force. The caramel wave loomed overhead, ready to crash down, but just as it was about to hit, Captain Fizz pulled the boat in front of them, creating a barrier between Lucy and the wave. The impact was deafening, and the caramel wave splashed around them, but it didn't hit them directly.
Go, go, go!
Captain Fizz urged, and Lucy pushed herself forward, following his lead. The path was narrowing, the caramel growing thicker and stickier with every step. The whirlpool's pull intensified, and Lucy could feel her body being tugged toward the swirling mass of gooey sweetness. Just when she thought she couldn't run anymore, a crackling sound filled the air, and the path ahead of them seemed to widen. The caramel began to recede, its pull weakening.
We made it!
Poppy cried.
The key's just ahead!
He added, feeling hopeful. Lucy took a deep breath, wiping the sweat from her brow as she caught sight of the glowing crystal ahead, bathed in soft golden light. She could hear the unmistakable hum of magic, calling her forward. The key to their next step in the journey was finally within reach.